Well, happy Wednesday, everyone. I'm KARE 11 meteorologist Belinda Jensen. Thanks for joining us on the KARE 11 Plus weather area where you can find all of the information. Wow, what a difference a day can make. We had 2 days where we were in the low 40s, a full January thaw that we enjoyed or maybe not over the last couple of days. And then we woke up with that wind howling and that temperature dropping. And with that, we have this gorgeous sunrise that we enjoyed this morning, and we will have sun all day. So if you're heading out, grab those sunglasses, or maybe if you can work inside, you'll be able to look out to those blue skies. This time of year, you get those crystal clear blue skies with this dry, modified Arctic air that has rolled in. So the morning temperature did drop down to about 14. We're going to top out at about 19. We thought maybe 22 was possible. We decided this morning it is not possible. It's just going to be about 17 to 19. That wind chill has been the big factor today to dress for. And of course, these winds, well, they were up to about 23 miles per hour sustained. They're now down to 17. Still a lot of wind, allowing these temperatures, of course, to feel much colder with that wind chill. It is 5 below International Falls, 0 for our friends in Grand Rapids. It's 6 in Hayward, where they will get a nice amount of snow coming in the next couple of days. So if you have plans to get out snowmobiling or out skiing in this neck of the woods, they'll have a fresh coat for you by the time you get to Friday afternoon. 15 in Mankato, only 4 for our friends in Alexandria. And look at these winds just howling straight out of the north coming in, and that is why it is such a cold morning. So here are the current wind chills, or a morning sampling of wind chills, I should say, right near sunrise. 19 below for Grand Rapids along with Thief River Falls. 10 below for St. Cloud. That's been holding steady for a number of hours. Look at this, Grand Marais at minus 26, minus 8 down in Jackson. And the array of wind chills around the metro does right now shape up early today between minus 2 and minus 10 at sunrise this morning in the 9 o'clock hour. So during the day today, I think we'll top out between 17 and 19. That's about it. So really below average. And folks, this is climatologically the coldest week of the year, when typically we have a low of 9 and a high of 23. So the last couple of days, really an anomaly. And now we're kind of back to where we should be, these January standards. We have a couple more days in the upper 20s, and then we're back to this kind of air for the Saturday, Sunday, Monday time period. So get used to this. The warmest wind chill we will have today for a walk is not great. It is 3 degrees. So be aware of that. Whenever you get this kind of cold air coming out of the north, it tends to be very dense, very dry. And with that, you can see that column of dry air that has been tugged down. So that's what's going to give us this wall-to-wall sunshine today, and border to border as well. Hardly a cloud to be found across the area. A little bit of cloud cover coming across the lake and being formed across the lake, and even a little bit of lake effect snow there in Marquette with that wind directly off Lake Superior. And of course, Lake Superior not frozen this year with the fluctuations in temperature. Sometimes it is, this year not the case. So lots of sun today, very cold, wind chill up to maybe 3 or 4. Here comes the warm front, here come the clouds, and here come these spokes of light snow that are going to wrap around this low pressure center. These storms that come out of Canada, they don't typically bring a lot of snow. We're not going to have wall-to-wall snow. It's going to be off and on, but the duration is going to be about 24 hours of this. The only area that will have consistent snow falling will be northern Wisconsin, the UP, the Apostle Islands, and the North Shore. And that's where the accumulations will add up. Here in the metro, we're talking maybe a half hour of snow, a couple hours of no snow, another half hour of snow. The warm front will allow our temperature to get back up to 29 the next 2 days, with this warm sector coming on in, even some ice falling, or sleet, I should say, falling in North Dakota. And then right around the low is where the heaviest snow will fall. In fact, just usually west of the low and northwest of the low. And that is where there could be up to a half a foot of new snow from this storm. Then for us, about 1 to 2 inches. Everyone will deal with this Arctic high pressure coming on in, and it will hold steady for the weekend with only a chance of light snow on Sunday. The temperatures will reflect that in the 7-day. We have Courtney Aiken up in just a couple of minutes with that 7-day forecast, and you probably saw it earlier on Sunrise or throughout the day and on your KARE 11 app, but it is going to be one of the coldest weekends of the year so far. So when it comes to snow, we'll, of course, as we get closer, kind of hone in on these numbers, but the best chance of a decent amount of snow will be here. As you can see, 4 to 6 inches from the central portion of the North Shore, Two Harbors, just north of Duluth, and then right through Brule and Hayward, the Apostle Islands, Ashland, right through north central Wisconsin, and then wrapping around it from International Falls, Grand Rapids, Cloquet, up to around Balsam Lake, Polk, Danbury, Shell Lake, down to Menominee, 2 to 4 inches. And then for the rest of Minnesota, as we're on the western edge of this spiral of spokes of light snow, we're talking 1 to 2 inches. You can kind of see here the lighter blue is a trace to 1, and then that next tone of blue is 1 to 2, and you can kind of see that sporadically through the region. So maybe just brooming it away is all you'll need to do. The one thing that will occur though, the winds are going to pick up behind this. So on Friday, that 1 to 2 could get kind of blowing and drifting across the roads. And that of course always makes the roads a bit icy. So for sure, it's a weather impact. For the snowpack, I wanted to show you a couple things. First of all, we get back to Minnesota, you can see the heaviest snowpack is on the North Shore, and the areas that have been able to get into the 50s is where there's no snow at all, south of the Minnesota River. But if you're like me, maybe you love to ski, maybe you have friends out west, maybe you've heard about this snow drought that is affecting all of the western states. It's been on social media. It's really affecting the economy of all these intermountain states. We're talking, of course, Colorado, the Four Corners, all the way up to Idaho, Montana. Montana is the one spot that has a little bit of snow, and then you can see the snow really just right on the mountaintops from the Wasatch to the Colorado Rockies, up through, of course, the Sawtooth Mountains, and also around the Teton Range. But otherwise, it doesn't look like it's been a very good year. You probably heard it from the ski resorts too. And so if you're planning on getting out here, it is kind of curious why they're not getting snow. Some years they don't with this kind of pattern. Some years they do. Meteorologist Jamie Cagle looked into this snow drought in our Weather Minds.
If you're planning a ski trip out west, I have some mixed news for you. The La Nina pattern, it's been favoring the northern Rockies over the central Rockies, and despite early January snowstorms, the central Rockies are still playing catch up. They're sitting at about 60% of normal for this time of year. Meanwhile, the northern Rockies have had several feet of fresh snow, and that's keeping them near average. And while the high terrain has been getting the snow, the lower elevations have been seeing mostly rain or light snow, and the forecast calls for near normal precipitation. That should help with those day-to-day ski conditions, but it's not going to make up the deficit. And above average temperatures will continue to be a problem for this part of the country. But here's the critical part. All this snow has created extremely dangerous avalanche conditions, resulting in a few deaths already this year.
Well, thanks again for joining us on this Wednesday morning. I'm meteorologist Courtney Aiken. That was meteorologist Jamie Cagle with some context on the really dismal situation out to the west, the snowpack, or really the lack thereof. It has been a bad year for the ski resorts, and we've even seen some impacts into the metro areas. Places like Denver and outside of that have had so little snow that the fire danger is quite high. It's not been a great year for those folks out west. But here at home, our snowpack, or the lion's share of it, is of course going to be for the central and northern portion of the state. Here in the Twin Cities, we're sitting at about maybe 1-2 inches. We did have that thaw earlier in the week. If you're a fan of the warm weather, you probably really enjoyed yesterday and that was Monday. We did see some melting, some puddles. It was a little bit slushy, but all of that is going to refreeze. Speaking of snow, though, some context here. We are now in our second snowiest month of the year. December tends to be our snowiest with an average of about 11.4 inches. And then January, on average, puts us at about 11 inches of snow. Now, we are going to pick up a little bit of snow as we head through Thursday evening and into our Friday. So if you are just now tuning in, we do have that weather impact alert beginning tomorrow at 3 p.m. lasting through your Friday, just because we are going to have some rounds of light snow. It's going to be consistently light snow, just a couple of inches stacking up Thursday night into Friday. So my primary concern there is going to be travel, just because it'll be your evening commute on Thursday, potentially even your morning commute on Friday. It may not snow consistently the entire time. Remember, it's going to be rounds, that type of deal, but there may not be enough time to kind of clean things up on those roadways. So all snow event, not really expecting any freezing rain, any sleet for the Twin Cities, and it will be longer lasting, 3 p.m. roughly Thursday all the way through about noon on your Friday, with maybe a couple of flurries lingering after that. And we're looking at about 1 to 2 inches. These are your models, and this is what they are calling for when it comes to snowfall. I know it's a little bit difficult to see there, but we're really looking at a forecast up to an inch. So this is not going to be heavy snow. And you look outside today, you're going to need the sunglasses. It's dry outside. It was a beautiful morning. However, a whole lot colder than it was yesterday. We are going to see those clouds building in tonight, but it will still be dry, at least until Thursday afternoon. That is when our weather impact alert goes into effect, 3 o'clock, and then that lasts through Friday at noon. The impact, light snow kind of off and on all the way through Thursday night and into the first half of your Friday. The main thing, you're just going to want to use caution on those roadways. I think that it could be a little bit slick, even an inch, even less than an inch, still enough to cause some problems. Even if you don't have to shovel, you'll want to build in some extra time for your commute. And also keep in mind that if the snow is blowing, that could lower visibility a little bit on the roadway. So let's head into microcast. The rest of today, going to be sunny, going to be cold though. Our official high temperature forecast is 19. It's going to feel like 3 or 4. Here come the clouds as we head into late tonight. There could be an initial swath of snow for Duluth, International Falls by late morning, but for us here, we start to get that snow late afternoon and into tomorrow evening. Notice how it's kind of spotty here. So it's going to be that off and on light snow. And then we have this warm sector here. So our temperatures will be able to rebound just a little bit, but that is short lived. Pay attention to the cold front here. After that snow wraps up, it is going to be a very cold weekend. And when it comes to snow, only about a couple inches for the Twin Cities. Of course, areas a little bit closer to Lake Superior will pick up on more snow, say 2 to 4 inches at best. Now let's talk about the cold component, because after the snow wraps up, this could be our coldest weekend of the year so far. Feels like temperatures Friday evening down to about 2 in the Twin Cities. There are some negative numbers on the map. We're going to see even more of that into your Saturday evening, feeling like minus 13 here locally, minus 20 in St. Cloud. Very, very chilly. You'll want to bundle up. That walk is probably going to be a short one outside, and we have the bitter cold all the way through our Sunday morning with those negative wind chills. So here is your weekend forecast. Saturday, much colder. It will be breezy, not forecasting any precipitation on your Saturday. Sunday, we do have a small chance of snow flurries. Impacts will be low. In the meantime, it is a beautiful sunny day today. I say beautiful, maybe with some caution because it is cold outside. This is our sunrise time lapse. You're looking at downtown in Minneapolis. And as of this morning, we were in the teens, but it did not feel that way. Feeling like -3 this morning. And the culprit is, of course, the wind. We're going to be dealing with more of that into our afternoon, which is why, at best, your feels like temperature maybe about 3 or 4 into this Wednesday afternoon. So you will need the coat all day long. High temperature forecast is 19. Not that it matters too much because it'll feel like 3 or 4. As we get into tomorrow, you will see more clouds. You may not need those sunglasses quite as much. 29. It'll of course, will feel a little bit cooler than that. And here is your 7-day forecast. 19 today, feeling like 3 or 4, and then into tomorrow by about 3 o'clock, we're going to start picking up on those snow showers. We have that light snow off and on all the way into your Friday afternoon. And then after the snow wraps up, it just gets plain cold into your weekend. 11 is your forecast high for Saturday. We'll go 13 for Sunday. And we also have that chance of flurries on Sunday. But in the meantime, your weather impact alert is going to be for Thursday afternoon, lasting into your Friday. Just build in some extra time for that commute. Even if you don't have to shovel, you'll just want to be prepared for those impacts on the roadways. That is the only weather impact alert that we have on your 7-day forecast. So here that is one more time. We have that snow expected Thursday and into Friday. After that, just a very cold weekend. Keep in mind, those temperatures are going to feel a whole lot colder than what you see there on the 7-day forecast. We'll have more impacts coming up throughout the day.